Okay, there we go. Let's go live. It's James Biddy speaking, trainingsites.io. Just want to make sure we got everything working. If you haven't joined us before or joined me before, we do these every Wednesday. These are live open question and answer sessions, so you can ask away and I'll do my best to answer them based on all of the stuff that I've been doing around starting, building, and growing an education business. So that's kind of where we're at. Welcome to everyone who's here. Please give me a thumbs up. Make sure the sound is okay. Let me know where you're from, who's here, and I'm open for questions. And it can be about anything to do, again, with this whole education space. And I'm thinking, some of the stuff that I focus on are subject matter experts, coaches, consultants, speakers. All these people have this stuff in their head and they just want to be able to go and share it and earn some money doing it. So that's where I kind of focus. And obviously in the AI space as well, being able to leverage that. So this is a really cool time. Everything is happening quickly. It's exciting, and hopefully you have lots of questions that I'll either be able to answer or at least direct you to some of the places that I've been researching and some of the people that I follow who are a little more technical on the AI stuff. I just try and figure out how's it fit into all of the stuff that's in kind of traditional course businesses. So that's the kind of space that I'm in. Hopefully it works. I could go over the technical part, the AI stack, but let me know in the chat here what's going on, what you're looking for specifically. And again, I'll do my best to take a look on it. Hey, Anthony, welcome. East Tennessee, wonderful. I better make my head smaller in this one. Sometimes when I go and, there we go, let's try that a little bit better. Can get a little bit better into the picture, a little bit smaller, and we'll go from there. There we go, perfect. Yeah, welcome. If there are questions, again, let me know. We can go into the tech stack stuff. There's all sorts of noise happening right now with GPT-5, which I think might come out this month. From what I've been kind of reading and finding out, I think OpenAI is like off all week. They basically closed down for the 4th of July weekend, and they're going to be starting again after the weekend. So I'm hoping that maybe some big announcement or something will happen. But from what I've been reading and researching, it looks like July or the summer that it's supposed to come out. And again, it's one of those ones that makes everything else look really um, limited in all of the stuff that it's going to be able to do. And again, I've been researching that from the people that I follow in the space, and I just try and look at it and say, well, how does this really affect what happens when you're trying to create a course, or you want to have a membership site or a community, or you want to be able to kind of curate your own stuff in your head and be able to make sure that it's something that you can show and help people transform based on the transformation that you've had. So again, please let me know if there are any questions. I'll flip back and forth here with my Portugal. Hey, welcome, Dean. Very, very cool. That's on my bucket list. Haven't been there before. So um, I was actually in, was I in Spain? Yeah, I was in Spain. And I think, um, if this is true, I think there was a lot of people that actually were flying to Portugal or Spain, like just for the weekend because the flights were so cheap there. If I could get there from Canada on a cheap flight, I'd be there in a minute. So I don't know if that still happens, but it was that whole area is just an intriguing one. So it's definitely on my bucket list. So is the UK too, Marie. That's one of the places I haven't been. So I'm really, really glad that you can join me from places other here than in North America. That's kind of cool. Hey, welcome, Mark. Thanks for coming on again. And again, I think I mentioned this before. That's one of the cool things that I've really run into on YouTube is because there's auto dubbing on my account, there's all sorts of people from all over that I wouldn't have talked to before that just either didn't know about me or they wasn't able to get in front of them. And that auto dubbing thing, I'm 99% sure that's where they're coming from, but multiple languages, basically signing up, watching the videos, hopefully getting the content and the value that I try and put into it. But this is a whole other market that is much bigger than you probably anticipate if you've only been thinking about, am I going to talk to in English speaking students or people that I'm able to help? So don't keep that in mind that there's just a whole other market out there that is now available that maybe wasn't in the past. And with all the AI stuff, the ability to translate it, I think, is going to get even easier. So huge opportunity for being able to do that. Who else we got here? I don't know how I'm going to try that one. Eat Kwan. Welcome. I don't think I've seen your name. Uh, Best AI tool to develop a course program and how much it costs. So we can start with that one if you want. Give me a thumbs up. There we go. Autodubbing sounds horrible, does it? I haven't listened to it, Mark. Hopefully it will get better. And again, I don't know what languages it's being actually dubbed into, so I'll try and speak more elegantly or eloquently and use words that auto-dub better in the future. Who knows about that? Okay, so AI tool for developing a course program. So here's, and put down in the chat, I'm going to ask you to qualify a little bit, but put it down in the chat because I think it's important. Um, Creating a course or a script for a course or a syllabus for a course or creating a course is kind of a big picture. When I first started with the AI stuff, there was a lot of kind of web services that came out where you basically answer some questions and it would give you a course that was generated by AI. And that was kind of cool when you were starting out. However, I think if you are interested in creating course content in terms of, building out the syllabus, the learning outcomes, any of the lesson plans or the actual lesson content, the video scripts, the marketing material. I personally do not use any other tools, external tools for content other than the kind of main 4 or 5. ChatGPT, make sure you have an account for ChatGPT, especially since GPT-5 is coming out and it's going to consolidate all the other models anyway. So my understanding from what I've read is it's just one single model, GPT-5. The other one is, of course, Claude, CLAUD.ai, if you don't have one of those. Really, really cool one and much better, in my opinion, than ChatGPT for creating marketing content or anything that is word related from a marketing perspective, not a technical one, but a marketing perspective. The other one is Google Gemini, which is built into the Google Workspace, which I am a huge fan of because they have that whole ecosystem now in place. The other one is Perplexity.ai that replaces Google Search. And then some people really like Grok, and there's a couple other ones that are available. Some of the ones, for example, Manus.ai is a browser agent. There's another one called GenSpark as a browser agent. So I only look in terms of creating content now. I just focus on those ones that are minuscule investments or free. And when I say minuscule, the most I spend on all of these is $25 a month. I think it's $25 or $30 at the most. So I have the basic paid tools, and I don't even have the paid one for Perplexity right now. I just use the free one. So in terms of actual tools to create content, I just stick with the free ones. I don't go and go out of my way to pick other kind of tools that create content as a tool. And the reason I do that is most of the time they actually run on ChatGPT or Claude or any of the other large language models. So it's kind of just like a form over top of the large language models. And you can learn to prompt or be effective in how you want your courses created just using the free ones. So for developing a course program and how much does it cost? If you are doing something technical, I would just stick with ChatGPT. If you're doing something that is a little more small business or something that requires more marketing or requires it to be more natural, I would use Claude to actually go and create any of the lesson content. And that includes anything from doing the syllabus to creating the quizzes to actually writing out the lessons, the video scripts, creating the card decks, or any images that you want. I would start using those particular ones. And when I say images, ChatGPT does have the ability baked in to create images. For Claude, normally if for a course, what I do is I use a third-party tool for graphics. One that I use for business courses is called napkin.ai. And that's just cutting and pasting part of the text you've created and actually having graphics visually created on your behalf with Napkin. So, you know, best AI tools for course ones, I just use the basic ones and go from there. And again, the course, uh, you know, let me know if you're creating a course, the if you're just wanting to create a course, again, my personal gist on this, I don't know what market you're in or what you're trying to get accomplished with it, but I think you have to think much bigger than a course now. A course is not enough by any means, and even the type of course that you create is going to have to change. I was watching actually one of the videos from one of the people that I follow, and they said something interesting. They said when GPT-5 comes out, it's going to be the first time when the students are going to be, for all intents and purposes, smarter than the teacher. Uh, and if you think about that, all of these tools that are coming mainstream, the ones I just talked about, everyone has the ability, the same way that you do, to create the same course that you're creating if you're just using some kind of AI tool to create that content. So there has to be a lot more around it to be able to make yourself stand out a little bit more. And that's why I'm talking about training sites and building personally branded campuses, because that's one of the things that I think we have to do. And there's a whole bunch of ways that you can monetize yourself within your own campus. So, you know, you were mentioning just about a course. I would use those ones just to use them. Get the basic free one is more than enough, and use some of the frameworks that I put together as a start, or ones that you can get. And I'll basically pull up one of the screens here for the site, and I have a whole bunch of prompts I'll show you to get started with these ones. And hopefully they'll be able to help. So let me just open these up on the screen here so you can see them. This is in trainingsites.io. And again, this is the campus, it's free. Uh, if you're just getting started and you want to know about the big picture, please make sure to go through the 10-step campus map. That's an education business map, not a course map, but a course is part of those 10 steps. So that's the first piece there. Go and make sure that you go through that. The second one is down in the bottom on the left-hand side, you see there's one here that says prompt library. Those are the current prompts that I use and or variations of the ones that I use. And I have a whole bunch of them that are specifically around creating course creation here on the left-hand side. So there's a whole bunch of prompts you can play around, practice, make them your own, and it will really give you a good foundation for your content and applying your content into these prompts to be able to get something out that kind of helps you. So those ones are all available to you. So please take a look at those ones as well. So hopefully that kind of part start. What else have we got here? What else is everyone looking for? Platforms? Is it the piece of software that you're looking for to actually sell the courses? Is it more than the courses? Are you trying to sell memberships or communities? How are you going to market it? What are some of the things that you're interested in that particular space? That would I'd love to help you out with that one. So let me know what you have for questions in there, and I'll make sure to copy those ones as I'm just going to make sure I close another screen here. The I will talk about, as there's no questions that I don't see any ones yet. So let me see what I got here. Is there any more that I can do? Just playing around. Best AI course program, Autodubbing. Okay, yeah. So when it comes to AI tools, here's something I just want you to think about. And I have a couple other videos that are coming out on this right now. So if you are thinking a little bit longer term in all of this, one of the things that I think is a tool that is not being considered yet is the whole idea of having what some people are calling as a RAG, or retrieval augmented generated. Basically, think it's your big repository of content. So one of the things I think is going to become more important for us if we're in that space of education is that you want all of these ChatGPT tools and the ones I was talking about. You want them not necessarily to look out on what they've been trained, but also look or answer based on your information. So that's one of the things kind of that's just going to, I think GPT-5 is going to make a big difference on that, and I'm covering those in a couple other videos. But the thing is, any of the work that you're doing in courses, including your research and the things that you put together, we're going to have to start collecting them so that these AI tools that are all coming out have access to them when they're generating answers. And this does a couple really cool things. A couple really cool things to be able to monetize your proprietary information other than selling a course. And again, I'm going to go into detail in a couple other videos, but one of the things that's happening, and I've seen some of the larger companies that are doing it, but they're basically collecting all their information. They're not selling courses, but they're making their information available by, for example, something called an API or a programming interface. So if someone has Claude or Gemini and they want to get access to your data, they have to pay kind of to get into your walled garden. So making sure that if you're creating educational content, start thinking about how can I put this into some repository that I can monetize over and above putting a static course in. And whether that's YouTube videos or a prompt library or research in Google Workspace that you're doing, start thinking a little bit bigger than, hey, I'm in a course business. No, you're not. You're in an education business. And again, this is something that's all really, really changed. So what else we got here? Looking back office platforms to run our business. Just got on with Google Workspace and Xstyles. Okay, Anthony, thanks for that one. Best practices for community, yes. And Daniel, how do you know a new course will be wanted by the public, and what tool to use to create the courses? Okay, we'll go over those. Those are great questions, all ones that I've kind of run into over and over again. So let me do this one first. I'll show you kind of the back office that I have, and then I'll also show you one of the things that I put together is kind of a checklist for you, and I'll make that available as well. So again, if you haven't heard or been to these calls before, I may repeat stuff that are all in the videos as well, but it's a framework that I use when I'm talking to people to try and explain why I'm doing it a certain way, what I learned when I did it another way. And again, these choices are all yours based on what's going on in that 10-step process that I'm always talking about. So here's kind of the big piece here. When you are thinking of the back office for your business, I'm a big fan actually of the Google Workspace, and I use all of the stuff in Google Workspace. And I think it's becoming more important for a couple reasons. So if you don't have a Google one and you're a small business, please open up a Google Workspace account. Some companies or some of the other businesses that are a little bit bigger might be using the Microsoft Office, kind of the Office 365 suite, which I do have as well. But for a small business, I think the Google Workspace is a much better choice. Now, here's why that's important. Um, all of the tools now, I believe all of them, have the ability now to not only export the work product that you're getting from the AI tool into the Google Workspace, excuse me, whether that is a drive or a sheet or any of the other applications that are there in the Google Workspace. They can export to it, but they can also now use the content that is there as the basis of what the response they give when you're actually interfacing with them. And those are things like using the Google Calendar, your email library, your Google Drive, any of the files or docs that you've put together. All of that stuff is now available as data when you're actually working in Claude, for example. I'll pull up a Claude one here. Hopefully we'll be able to see it. Take a look here across the top. This is one of the things that I run into on a regular basis. If you look across the top here, these are all of the different tabs that I have running on a regular basis. And on this one, I only have one browser open, but I've got 25 or 30 tabs. Two monitors. Sometimes I get all over the place with these ones, but the ones that frequently are open are, for example, Claude. Let me do this one. Um, this was actually an app I built using Claude, which was kind of neat. Let me just open up another one here so I don't muck anything up. And again, all of the apps that I'm talking about have desktop versions that are available, so you can certainly use those ones. But for the Google Suite, if you haven't already and you have Claude, and just make sure in the bottom, and again, this is the basic paid one, from your apps here on the right-hand side. So connect apps. You can see there's the Google Drive, Gmail, Calendar, they have GitHub, and they actually can be connected to what's called MCP, or Model Context Protocol. And basically that's a way for these AI tools to talk to any tool that you want, but these ones, the Google Workspace, are already built into it. So you can start talking or referencing or sorting or replying to any of the content in the Google Suite. So make sure that you have that one. It's the exact same thing with ChatGPT now, so you've got a connection to these particular tools. That's kind of the first one. And if it doesn't show up here, if you don't have it here, and again, I'm in Canada, didn't come for a little while for us. If you're in the States, you may have it, but make sure in the bottom left, you can go into settings. And in the settings, there is integrations here, and make sure that you can either connect them or that it's actually turned on. So that one's kind of a cool one. Google Workspace, yes, back office platform, very, very important. You know, this is the big challenge for all of us in the course space, is that we end up with a whole bunch of information and coming up with a way to organize it that makes sense. What I ended up doing is I asked ChatGPT, basically I was saying, hey, this is my business. How would you set up my file or directory structure in Google Drive that would be best suited for the kind of business that I'm actually running? So, you know, in my case, as an example, what I did and the way I've got mine set up, there's two things here I'm going to show you. The first one is in Google Suite, and I'll pull this up for you. Um, Hopefully you'll be able to see this one okay. So I'm on a Mac. Here's just in the file manager. The one thing that I do have is I have a whole folder for YouTube videos. And the way that I break it up is that I have each individual YouTube video has all of the reference material, images, everything that is in there as well. So where's the one? So for example, you know, I have thumbnails, I have mind maps, I have documentation that I did, research that I did. I keep that in a folder so that it's organized that way. So the first thing is that I would do is, if you're using Google Workspace and you're doing all of this educational content, just ask the AI tool to say, hey, this is what I'm doing. What is the best way to structure my content so that you can keep it organized for yourself, but also make it available or an easy way to give access to it if you ever need to for some of the other people that you're working with. So that one is really, really, really important. The other thing that I will talk about with managing workspaces, and again, this is one that I use. I have a couple of videos on it. I'll bring it up so that you can actually see it. Which window will I use? We'll just use this one. I do have a tool called Fluent boards, and Fluent boards is, I have this one that runs on WordPress. This whole community runs on WordPress, and it's running on a tool called Fluent Community. One of the tools that I have as part of the Fluent Community is this one here. And you can actually, I think you can actually go see it. It's open, but unless you're a customer of ours and or one of our agency sites, you won't be able to get access to it. But on mine, I basically use a project management tool within the community. It's actually on the same site. It's not a separate piece of software, but I basically go in and I have all of my projects are managed here. And in this one, these projects are just YouTube videos. So what I try and do of obviously go in is open it up, and I have a whole bunch of information with links, with the assets that are linked to that folder that I was talking about, and then any additional materials that are there. So I have a project management tool in my community, which is hooked up to the Google Drive, and I make sure that the information, I try and keep the project here and the reference material out and connected. So those are the ones that I kind of have, but Google Suite, definitely use it and try and do your best to keep it organized now in a simple, simple way. So Xstyles I haven't used before. So again, if that one is one that comes up, please make sure to put it into the trainingsites.io community. Put it into the tools and services. I'd love to hear about it and see how it works. One of the other questions here, best practice to build a community, please. And how do you know which course will be wanted by the public? Daniel, I'm going to answer that one first. This is how I do it now, and this is how it was often done in the past. The way that I'm doing it is I go and I publish as many YouTube videos as I possibly can as quickly as possible. And I try and figure out which are the ones, the topics that of are more interest to people and that I get more feedback on. So if I'm, playing around on my YouTube account, again, I just publish as much as I live edited content as I can about all of the things that are in what I call my topical authority map. But if I go and take a look at some of these ones here, we'll just pull up the channel. We'll actually go to the channel. But I basically look and I create the content as much as I can for videos. I do it as quickly as I can. I learn, I've got a system down now because I've just been learning about the text and the thumbnail text and the title is what usually works the most for me. But I will massage and play around with those as much as I can. And the reason is that you will get some that resonate with people that are hopefully in your market. Those are the topics in the content that I focus on more of course, if it's something that can help them. But I think this is the easiest and quickest way to actually verify what it is that people are looking for and be able to repurpose it back. And there's a couple cool things that you can do with this. Here's kind of the first one. If you haven't already and you have some YouTube videos, it's very easy to turn a couple YouTube videos into a course that you can sell. And in fact, I did a video up on that and I'll show you in a second. So just do YouTube videos. That's the best way I think to do it because you get actual live feedback from people viewing it and or commenting on it. And you get to see the way that you present it, which one works and which one doesn't. And I think the biggest problem, if this is your first course or you're just getting started on this, one of the things that happens, I know when I created my first courses, it was about creating a course than trying to go out and sell it. And for people just starting out, what I have seen the most biggest problem is that a coach or consultant or speaker or teacher creates a course that they would buy, not the course that someone else would buy that they're hoping to persuade and influence. So making sure that you answering the questions about your particular area of interest and the transformation that you provide, finding out YouTube, I think, is a way to actually do it now because it's the quickest way to do it. The other thing you can do, it's not one that I do, but if you are trying to or have money to spend, a lot of people will recommend that you start doing some kind of ads on the social media platforms that you spend time on and just see what kind of feedback you get from people in terms of the interest, the amount of interest, the whether you're using some kind of low ticket offer or a giveaway or something just on how you message it to make sure that you've got the right topic and the right way of talking to the people that hopefully are going to be able to spend some money with you. I don't do any paid ads. I don't do any social media. I just focus on putting stuff on YouTube. And again, the stuff I put on YouTube, all of this, again, every single bit of this are live edits. So I have no video production costs. I don't have a video editor, none of that stuff. I just kind of did it over and over and over again so I'm comfortable in front of the camera after mucking up a lot at the start when no one was watching. But being able to do this does frees you up a lot to learn about what actually works and what doesn't. And again, you can create courses from these. I'll give you an example. I'll put one up here. We'll do this one here. Let me just go back to the I'm going to go back to some of the courses. Again, this one's available to you if you haven't already. Join trainingsites.io/join. But I'm just going to put in YouTube here and we'll pull up one. This one here, this is a good one. It just says, this is turn YouTube videos into courses. And again, this one is here and free for you. One of the examples that I did, one of the clients did, we had one. Just going to go, there's something, I put an example in. Where's the one? I think it's in one of the ones. I won't open it up. But this one basically just says, hey, here's a way to repurpose your YouTube videos and structure it into a course and have it as something that you can do. So if you have a whole bunch of YouTube videos that you've done and you know that maybe 3 of them are related and you can kind of massage them into a course, you can create courses pretty quickly without having to create a traditional course and just try and market it and be able to get some feedback on it, either from your existing customers and or people that you can get engaged in it. You can find out stuff pretty quickly about that. I will mention as well, Daniel, when we're talking about this, if you haven't already, to make sure that, again, this is anyone creating courses, make sure that one of the first things you do is creating a topical authority map. And what that is if you do it, I'll show you the prompts for it. I've done a couple examples of this. If you have a topical authority map, the big map of your education business should give you anywhere from 900 to 1,000 questions or challenges based on search intent that the people that you are trying to help will have. So if you can make sure that your messaging or creating content around what people are searching and the challenges and answers they're looking for, having that map in front of you is a really, really good way to start. And if you haven't already, I'll just bring it up so that you can see it. The topical authority map is in the prompt library again. And after I'll put some links on that one. So we'll do, just going to do a search here for that one. So we'll do, there it is. Where was it? Content or topical authority map. So this particular one is here, and it's just a way to basically make sure you have your key topic, you have your pillar categories, you have your variations on each of the categories, and then you have the challenges and questions people ask. So there's a real neat process to go through, and you'll end up with a mind map of all of these great ideas, and you can start playing around with them and getting some feedback from people on YouTube or existing customers, or if you are going to place ads going there as well. So I would always try and do that. Don't create a course, a big long course to start. Create videos, mini courses, micro courses, micro skills. Put them up on YouTube as fast as you can and get some feedback on them. And actually, that's one of the terms that I've been running into a lot, just to kind of make sure that you consider this, is when I first started, it was about courses, and then people were talking about mini courses, and then people, I've heard the term micro courses. I've used it before. So, mini course, main program, course, there's a whole bunch of different variations on it. I think now the cool ones that's coming across is this idea of a micro course, which are 7-minute or 8-minute answers to specific questions. And your ability to create those quickly so that people can come into your campus or community to find specific answers with your take on it is a really, really effective way to provide value, other than the fact that creating a 35-minute course and having 17 modules and 18 handouts and all of that stuff that no one will ever take, or no one will ever find the answers to the questions that they want, that they just can't get anywhere else by typing into ChatGPT now or doing some kind of prompt in Perplexity. So these micro skills, I think, create them as fast as you can, archive them or make them available for any of the AI tools to be able to pull from. There's a whole bunch of value in that. Super quick turnaround, super quick feedback, easy thing to get going on that. So hopefully that helps. I get rambling on these ones because it's kind of exciting stuff. So hopefully that helps. And what tool do I use to create courses, and then the best practice for the course community? We'll do that one in a second. So the way that I have my campus video kind of production put up, I have, let's say, I have 4 things that are important. I'm on a Mac, so I use a piece of software called ECam, and it is a live streaming piece of software that also does recording. So I can go live like I am today to Facebook, to LinkedIn, and to YouTube, but I also get a recording of it. I don't have to go live. I can just do the recording. So that is a piece of software, and it's very easy to use once you get it set up, and it allows me to create scenes like these ones to kind of split between different scenes. And when I say live edits, it's my ability to switch or edit the screens while I'm going is the part that is really, really helpful. So that's kind of, that's kind of the thing that I do, is this ECam one. If you're on Windows, I recommend that you use StreamYard, which is another live streaming service that works actually for Mac or for Windows. It's browser based, but it allows you to do the exact same thing that I'm doing right now. So if you have just a talking head video, if you're using a PowerPoint presentation or graphics or screen captures, anything like that, it allows you to do the exact same thing where you can switch between scenes and kind of play around and figure out how it works or how you can get your story across. Um, Now, you can also do things like if you have a video of something else, you can show that on the screen at the same time, have it embedded in a window. All of those things are possible, and it requires no video editor. It just requires you to play around and figure out how you like presenting stuff and what scenes you need to get your story across. So those are the ones that I have right now. Those are the ones that I use. The other thing that I do have that I highly recommend, and I'll hold this up, this is a Stream Deck from Elgato, and basically this is a programmable little piece of software or a little hardware, and what I do is I basically just pick the buttons and it goes back and forth between the scenes as an example. So that's from Elgato. That's called a Stream Deck. They also have a foot pedal that I don't use but have hooked up, and a teleprompter. So in the hardware side, I use some of that Elgato stuff that is works really, really well for me. And I have two lights that I use that I got from Newer. I've got one just off to the left here, and I've got one down behind me. Um, Lighting is the hardest part that I got doing with the setup for doing the videos. I have rosacea, which is a reddening of the face. It's hard to get the color. You got to get over the way that you look. Takes a little bit of work doing that. The other one is I have an Insta360 webcam. No fancy camera. I did have like a fancy Canon one, a whole bunch of money trying to get it set up. I don't think you need it anymore unless you're doing, put this in perspective. If you're doing, really, really detailed videos and stuff, this maybe setup isn't for you and you do need a video editor. If you're doing more educational content, I think you can get by now with basic equipment and live edits. So those are kind of pieces that I use. I got ECam, I got Elgato, I have some lights, I have an Insta360 account, and StreamYard is the one. You can do this same setup with StreamYard on the Windows machines. So hopefully those ones help on the equipment. The courses that I do on this, and I will mention one other one. The one that I do, and again, for educational content, I think it's really a good tool if you do have to do some edits and splicing and things like that, is use Camtasia from TechSmith. And Camtasia is like a video editor, like some of the higher end, like Adobe Premiere and Final Cut on the Mac. But it's really good at doing ones that are more educational, where you may need to have text overlaid on images with a talking head, or doing arrows, or doing bubbles, or doing chyrons at the bottom and adding stuff. Camtasia is a really good tool for doing that. And when I did use Camtasia, the part that I did with it is I spent most of the time doing what's called a tip and a tail. So if you're doing something where it's a little more professional and you don't want to start with your head right in the middle of the screen, you can record your video just like I do, but then take it to Camtasia and create a template. And that template basically has your professional introduction, your professional exit, maybe call to actions that you can put. And basically you just take the recording of the one that you want, add the tip, what would be on your site, add the tip, add the tail, and then just export it. And now you've got a course that comes across a little more professional. Again, the other thing you can do as well is when you take that approach, you don't have to have a perfect take, right? You can do a recording and go, oh, damn, I mucked that up. Or I shouldn't have said that. It's easy to take it to Camtasia and just basically cut out the snippet that you mucked up and splice them together pretty easily. So if you do have some major errors, you do that as well. And there's a whole bunch of other people that talk about, doing stuff with editing. I don't spend a lot of time on it. That's the basic setup that I have, because I think the content now and your ability and the speed to be able to create content that is appropriate for your market is more important than the production quality of it. And again, that's with a caveat. If you're selling to major corporations, there's a different framework to go from. But for most small businesses, most people that are doing anything where it's more instructional from a professional service one, I think, just make sure you've got something you're comfortable with that gets the message across that's important to the people that you're trying to help. Um, Community, Dean. Okay, perfect. Here's one. Just let me know if you are doing some kind of community right now. What platforms have you looked at? What tools are you using? I will go over kind of my shtick on it, on the best way to do it, and I will do it right after I go over. Sorry, Marie. Thank you very much. Yeah, I just have a Blue Yeti microphone. Blue Yeti microphone that I have, and it's set to only work on the front. I have one like I have one like that. I did have one. There's a couple other good ones. The one that I really liked as well. This is a Hollyland Lark, and mine kind of broke a little bit, but this was originally designed for cell phones. And basically, what happens is you can put this little receiver in the bottom of your cell phone or hook it up to your computer. And then what it also has is it has a magnetic mic. And these ones are actually good because you can put a lapel mic on it, just basically attach the battery in behind. And this is a microphone that you can wear. So if you're doing stuff in front of you and you want a lapel mic, the Hollyland Lark is a nice one. Again, it was designed specifically for cell phones, and it works. I've seen some demos where they have it where, like 100 meters away, you can still hear the voice perfectly. So it's a neat one. I think there's a whole bunch from DJI that have some ones that are similar. Some people like the lapel mic. I have the Yeti, which is the one that I was using. But in terms of microphone, again, personal preference. I think what I've been told and what I've read is that the whole idea of the sound being appropriate is almost as important as sometimes the way that the actual content is created. So, Dean, Fluent Community on WordPress, perfect. That's the one I recommend. And that whole stack of tools that's coming up, really, really cool stuff there. Let me just see what else we got here. Microphone, Fluent Community on WordPress. Okay, so here's, if anyone's joining me here, I'll do my quick 30 seconds on community platforms. There's two major choices that we have to make when it comes to creating training sites or communities or educational content. The big choice is, do I want to own my community, my training site, and my content, and use WordPress and a tool like Fluent Community or BuddyBoss? There's a number of them available. Or do I want to rent space on a software as a service using tools like Kajabi or Thinkific or Teachable or Go High Level or Circle, all of these other platforms that are available to us? So that's kind of the first choice. The thing that works with this to keep in the back of your mind, and I'm going to give you the checklist for this, but the thing to remember on this is that if you are really, really technical, it's easy, not really technical. If you have some technical ability and you're comfortable, installing a plugin, that kind of stuff, you can stick with WordPress. If you just want something that's up and quick and you really don't care about all of the nuances around different features and stuff, you can pick one of these softwares as a service and basically rent some space with the features that they think are important and put your content up, this afternoon and be able to sell it. So that's kind of the first choice. You have to figure out, where am I taking a long-term view of this? Do I want my content available only right now as a course? Is it about the course business, or is it about the community, or is it about subscription and membership? There's all sorts of stuff that kind of goes around with that. And this information, these questions come up from, and I'll open this up here for us. Actually, I'll do the map. I'll do one of the maps. Again, the reason that I do the mind map in that 10-step program here, the one that I was talking about is, and again, these are the files that I had open before. I'm just going to open these ones here, and actually I'm going to do my mind map. Let's do it this way instead, actually. So I put together a 10-step process for any of these education businesses. And the one that comes up all the time is, what are the steps? What platform do I have and what platform do I want to use there? So I put together these additional things, and you'll see that there's up at the top here, this is the 10-step campus map. There's some links here to some information or some graphics of the mind maps. Please go take a look at those ones there. So let me just see if I can open that one that's there. We'll do the campus blueprint. And again, these are all available to you, so hopefully you'll be able to open that one up quickly. And we're going to be able to open it. There we go. And let's just make this a little bit bigger. Okay, so here's the thing. The right tools is number 4. So if you haven't already picked out the topic that you know that you're happy about, clarified the goals and the purpose of your community and your campus, made sure that you have something that can sell, like Daniel, these questions, then you get into the right tools for success, which are the ones we've been talking about. And that big one is like 4 and 5, where do I put my videos and my courses? And the only time you should do that is after you know what it is that you're selling, that you know that selling that is going to be able to meet your goals and your company goals, and that you're selling the right stuff because you have domain expertise in it and you know people are actually interested in doing it. So having said that, picking that right piece of software, whether it's owned and or rented, is you've got to make sure that you go through and actually use those tools. Here's some of the checks. And again, I have all of these available for you in the campus. And let me just open this one here. There we go. So these ones I'll make a little bit bigger so we can see them here. And again, these are mind maps. One of the things that I do with courses, one of the questions was, how do I create courses? I highly recommend that you get a copy of xmind.net, which is free, and that you create your courses, the framework for your courses, in a mind map before you start using AI. But it gets you to be able to see a picture and a flow or a way for you to understand what it is you're trying to teach, and then bring the mind map to the AI tools to flush out and add. So, you know, these are all ones, again, these are all available to you, and I'll pull them in so you can kind of go through these ones. Yeah. And this has to do too with when you're kind of figuring out which one you want to do. The question I always have for people is, are you going to be selling static courses, or are you going to be selling a course with live coaching? Is that live coaching in the format of we start at the beginning of the month, we end at the end of the month? Is it going to be a group of people going through at the same time? Is it one-on-one coaching? So you really have to make sure that you understand that the purpose of the community or campus or course, is it course focused or is it community focused? Because if you're just trying to have some kind of membership and the user generated content, the interaction is in the community side, those are two or can be two different kind of platforms to pick. So the way I look at it is, I have the course side, I have the community side, and then the part for me, and why I call it a training site is a campus, is I always try and focus on, how do I have an educational space where I can have courses and community and that structured live interaction with people in the form of classes. So that's why I've picked one that is the most flexible, which is WordPress and Fluent Community. And I'll show you that kind of piece in a second. And you know, you kind of got to decide, am I going to use, which one of those three I'm going to be able to kind of pick on? And then the ones that you go from there is, if I'm going to use one that is a paid service like Kajabi or Thinkific, or Circle is the other one that I really, really like. Circle is great for community, but it's a little bit weak on courses. Go High Level is great on marketing your courses and community. It's not the strongest when it comes to community. In fact, they tried to bolt something on, and then the courses are okay. If you try and use something like Thinkific or Teachable, they're really great at courses, but there's no community and there's no marketing. So those kind of services, when you're renting, you're kind of limited to what features they have and the way that they've got it set up. And again, I'm not knocking them, but just make sure that you understand, how is my business set up? What am I focused on? Am I going to have one course? Am I going to have 10 courses? Am I going to do coaching with it? These are all things that you kind of got to think through, because the hardest part, in my opinion, is getting down one kind of way and then realizing, oh, I need to be able to do this, and it's not there. And then it's like you got to move everything over to some platform that does something a little bit differently that you couldn't do on one platform. My personal recommendations now in terms of platforms is, if you're going to do a WordPress one, it's Fluent Community and that whole suite, which I'll show you in a second. If you are going to be more focused on community and courses, and you want just something you can turn on, I would go with circle.so right now. And again, those ones are great platforms, both of them. Both have different purposes, both have different outcomes, but they're both really, really solid pieces. The one thing I will add, because I'm always talking about AI stuff, and this is the other thing to keep in mind, is if you're going to have an education business and all these AI tools are coming out that have access to your data, whichever one that you pick, I suggest that you start asking now, if AI is going to do this in 6 months, is my course content available for AI to leverage? How can I take advantage of all of the great content that I have, the frameworks, all of that stuff? How am I going to be able to make it available? Is it walled off so AI can access it? Am I okay with that? Or can I make it available as my proprietary content and charge for access to my proprietary content? So I look at it that way, and my big focus is on, and in my case, is on Fluent Community on WordPress. So I'll open that up and just kind of show you what it looks like. And again, if there's questions about that particular piece, let me know. The kind of thing that's interesting here is when you look at Fluent Community, it is basically a knockoff in many respects of Circle. So they look very, very similar. They work in a similar fashion. One is obviously owned, one is not owned. So I just want to make sure if there's some other questions. Mighty Networks, they push one hard for communities. Yes, Anthony, they do. I have signed up for that one and I've seen a demo. I don't have a customer on Mighty Networks that I can think of. But yeah, and that's, some people have a preference for one, and that's fine. If you like the one that you're at, don't go and change it. If it's fitting into your business model, don't go and change it. The thing is that you've got to build out your community and build out your content and market it. You have to start, build, and grow an education business, and make sure that you take a look, a little bit wider view of treating it as a business and not as a course delivery platform. That's the only point that I'm trying to get across. So Fluent Community works like this. You have a WordPress site and you need to install a couple pieces for a training site, a teaching site, a course and community site. So on WordPress, you have some different ways of doing it. One is that if you're going to sell courses, you have to have a plugin that does courses. The three that I recommend for WordPress are LearnDash, which is kind of the granddaddy of the WordPress plugins, Lifter LMS, and also Tutor LMS. I think Tutor, I can't remember. I think there's free versions of Lifter, and they charge for the plugins. It's a freemium model. I can't remember for Tutor. I have one site on Tutor. And then LearnDash, I was one of the original customers. So I don't really, and I have a lifetime license, so I don't know what the pricing is on those ones right now. But those ones are traditional learning management software. And what that means to you is that if you need very structured courses that provide certification and quizzes and multiple instructors, my recommendation is to use one of those LMSs or e-learning plugins that work with it, picking from one of those three. So LearnDash, I quite like if you're doing certifications and quizzes and multiple instructors. If you need something that looks really good, Tutor LMS is great for that. If you want something that has a lot of flexibility, Lifter LMS is great for all of the extension that is available for it. So that's the first thing. You got a place to do courses, you can go the plugin route. The other thing you can do with that is you can get Fluent Community. And Fluent Community also has a basic course module. And that course module, for example, is the one that you see here, which is just a grid of courses. And in my case, we go and let's do this one here on the, let me just pull one up here. It took 2 magic prompts. This is a very, very basic course one that allows you to have, in my case, I can have sections and courses. And in the courses, I can have attached documents, quizzes, text, and embedded videos. So basically, this is just, a straightforward way to deliver the content. Right now, there's no certification here. There's no assignments that are available. It's not set up for multiple instructors to do blended or flipped learning, any of those things. It's basically, here's the content, it's organized in the form of courses. So Fluent Community comes with that built in. There's another one that comes with the community part called Buddy Boss, which is great at community, but for Buddy Boss, if you have that on WordPress with a community, you need to use LearnDash or Lifter LMS to actually add the courses in. So you have a community plugin and a course plugin. If you just need basic courses, Fluent Community does both of those pieces. So pretty straightforward on those ones. Fluent Community, again, these guys are doing stuff as quickly as I've seen any of the developers. I really like the way that they put this together. And there's something cool at the end, which I think is hidden that most people kind of don't get with Fluent Community that isn't available if you're using other regular WordPress platforms. So community and courses, that's kind of the place that you have to focus on. Fluent Community allows you to have unlimited courses. So you can have as many as you want. You can do as much as you want there. The part that it doesn't do really well at this point is allowing you to search globally for the content within the courses. So, there's a way to do 20 different tags across the top, organize them by tags, but you basically got to search for the stuff that you're learning and going through here. So again, good platform, straightforward information, small chunks, putting stuff in an organized, logical flow, it's there. There's no learning path. Do you need a learning path or a journey? Do you need to have different parts where the course says you take these first 4 modules followed by these 5 modules? That stuff is not there. So big picture, Fluent Community, basic courses, Buddy Boss, and LearnDash on the WordPress side for community and courses. If you're on the software as a service side, I would stick with circle.so and have it all in one particular platform. So that's the first thing, community and courses. Second thing, and this one is the one that most people forget about, is that if I have a community and or a course, I need to have a way to market it. So the other piece that they have here, and I'll open this up in the background so that you can kind of go see it, is I use Fluent CRM, which means that I have an email marketing automation and customer relationship management tool directly within my campus. It is connected to the community and it is connected to the courses. In my case, I'll just open this up so that we can see it. See if we can get to the front page here just so that we're playing around with it there. Yeah, so what would be a good page here? So in the contents, I don't know which one I want to show here. Yeah, so here's some of the examples. I'll just open up one of the screens so you can see it. So in this case, I can do live broadcasts. I can do sequenced automations. So if you're using ActiveCampaign or maybe some of these other softwares as a service as Go High Level or Kit, what used to be called ConvertKit, or some other tool for managing your contacts and managing the emails that go out to market your business, you have another piece of software, maybe hooked up to WordPress, maybe 2 softwares as a service, one like Circle and then another one for doing the email marketing. I use Fluent CRM as part of the stack of tools. It is connected to the same people that are part of the community that are taking the courses, and I can look at the CRM and basically know exactly what's going on, who's clicked what, what parts of the course is available, and it gives me the ability to do all sorts of automations and campaigns and tag people to be able to control what they see, what they get access to, and what they don't get access to. So that idea of having a CRM allows you to have a membership site within your community and access to the courses. So again, Fluent CRM, Fluent Community, and Fluent Projects is how I manage the projects. The other thing that they have from Fluent, which is a really good one, is they also have Fluent Support. And what Fluent Support means is that there's a help desk built in. So if I'm going and I want to make sure that, that if someone has a question that is something that's related to billing, there's a help desk where they open a ticket and we get a support ticket inside. Excuse me, we can answer back and forth, make sure that the stuff is getting copied and that's associated with it. And because it's part of Fluent CRM, we now have the information about their help desk tickets in Fluent CRM, and we can see what's going on in the community, in the courses, in the exact same space. The project board, Fluent Boards, is part of the CM. It's connected to the courses. It's connected to all of it. The other one that we use in the community part is lots of times people just want to talk to you. They may have questions, stuff going on. They may want to book some time. You may have a coaching program, that kind of thing. So the other Fluent one, and again, I'll put the links to all of these individual pieces here as we get going. But if you go and you want to, for example, book some time with me, I do have trainingsites.io/strategy. You can book some time with me. This is Fluent Booking. So this allows someone to basically go and book some time, 90 minutes with me. And this is hooked up to WooCommerce, the shopping cart, and it'll charge the person and book a time in my calendar with a Zoom link or a Google Meet link. It's just like Calendly, but it's here directly within the community, within the campus, not out on another service, and it's all connected in the CRM so that I know when they booked it. I can look at their records, see what they've done in the community, posts that they've done, courses they've taken or not taken, and be able to have a really good picture of it instead of looking all over for the different kind of pieces of it. So I use the Fluent Stack. I highly recommend it. They've done a great job with it, and they're always bringing new stuff out. The one thing that's kind of cool on this is that maybe starting later today, you're going to see that Fluent Affiliates is available. So they've got a brand new affiliate plugin that is going to be, I should have access to it either today or tomorrow, I think. I'll put it on here. And this is for community sites, and affiliate program is a must. The reason I say that is because if you have a community set up like this or a training campus, I can make every single community member an affiliate automatically, and I can compensate them either with my time and or courses or access to content based on the number of people that they refer to the community. If you're marketing your community, this is one of the easiest ways to get other people interested in it by incentivizing people to actually go out and promote it. So Fluent Affiliates is available. I also have the beta software for Fluent Cart, which is a replacement for WooCommerce, which is the one I use in the shopping cart. So pretty soon there's going to be a whole suite for Fluent. And the one thing I want you to look at, this is a secret, and this is something that I'm really excited about. If I go and I take a look at the community that I have on this particular page right here. So if you look at the entire page and you know about WordPress, what's the one thing that's missing here that you normally see on a WordPress site? It's the theme, right? There's always, or in many cases, you have a theme with an About Us page, a contact page, a services page, all of these particular theme things and design things that you have to deal with. I'm really excited because I think, again, this is my gist on it. I've been creating standalone HTML web pages for different parts of my business, whether it's a sales page or an order page, for example, just using ChatGPT or Claude or any of the other AI tools to basically say, hey, create a landing page for me. I'm not using WordPress to create the landing pages. I don't need Elementor. I don't need a theme or a plugin. The Fluent Community ones, if you look at this, it's kind of headless. And a headless CMS, if you're not familiar with it, it's basically a content management system that doesn't have the theme or the design around it. It's either you're in the site or you're not in the site, and all of the other things aren't really important. I'm excited because I think training sites are going to be moving away from having a fancy site with all of these extra pages about making sure, trying to find out how can I get as many people into my ecosystem, my community, and be able to monetize them or give them access or engage them in the community, not on having a fancy sales page or something like that. So I focus on community first, everyone in the community, and then monetization, not low ticket offers, that kind of thing. Fluent Community, you don't really need a theme. If all of these pieces are in place, hey, you want a project, go check this. Support tickets here, courses are there, communities here. You want to book some time, it's here on the page. You can just book it, it's all set. So this is going to be really cool. I think that whole need for a traditional website is going to be something that is less and less important for education business. I'm not talking about branding or those kind of things. Even the shopping cart, you don't need a fancy platform for the shopping cart. Uh, if you have the images of it, if you have the description of it, traditional web cart or plugins for WordPress allow you to sell stuff, and you got enough information on it if you do need extra information. So that's kind of cool. I think that's where it's kind of focusing. And in the future, I'm looking at this as training site education business, not just sell courses. So hopefully, you can play around with that, get into it. I will actually, I'm just ranting here. Sorry, I get kind of going on these. The one thing here that's also of interest is and this is the part that's missing with Fluent Community right now. I think in the whole space when it comes to selling all of these courses, the blended learning and the exciting part, if you're interested in actually teaching stuff, is us being actually doing this right now, but in a Zoom call or a Google Meet call where there's an actual workshop that we work on the implementation or application of the content that's in your community. And that requires some kind of platform to interact. That's the one thing Fluent Community doesn't have. My understanding is that it's coming. And what I'm talking about is a way to have classes. And circle.so does that right now. There's another one that I have customers on called heartbeat.chat, where you can actually have a call, whether it's a group call with other people in a class or in a group, where you're actually in the platform able to interact visually, auditorily. You can have working sessions. It's not you doing some kind of pitch or selling something or just talking. It's about actually working on stuff. Right now, Fluent Community doesn't have that. The tool that I use is this one right here, is called Modern Event Calendar. And here's the call that we're doing here right now. It has a way to schedule these. You can monetize them as well, but this one is not part of Fluent Community yet. So that's the other cool one I think is going to be more important than not about this, and especially with GPT-5. That one is coming out, and it's going to make it really, really important that you do get comfortable talking to people in real life and actually teaching something, not just dumping content. And having a calendar and classes and implementation sessions, that's the cool part that I think we're all going to have to do. And that's where people are going to stand out. I don't think you can stand out with content anymore. I think you've got to be able to stand out with application implementation and the way that you can share your passion and an excitement for something that you've done in the past. So Fluent Community, WordPress, circle.so, software as a service. I'm not a huge fan of, I still like the tools, but I'm not a huge fan of School, for example, or Go High Level, which are a little less in your control in the education space. Thinkific or Teachable are some of the ones that were original e-learning platforms, don't have the community and don't have the marketing that is available for you or that you need to actually get people to purchase something or at least talk to them and remind them of stuff and events. So The best platform I've seen right now is the Fluent one, and because it's on WordPress, my content, my space, my gates, my control, I'm looking at it long term. So hopefully that helps. I know the kind of get off on a whole kind of tangent there. It is an exciting time for anyone who's in this space, but I think you need some control over what it is that you're going. Daniel's asking what's wrong with school. Okay. Um, I just want to make sure that I word this. There, here's what happens. This is kind of the same as shopping carts. When I first started this online stuff in the early 2000s, 96 is when I started. That was my first website, is 1996. So here's the thing. With shopping carts as an example. With shopping carts, I invested a whole bunch of time, energy, and money with a whole bunch of shopping carts. There was one called Quick Pay Pro. It was worked great for about 2 years and then it disappeared. There was another one called One Shopping Cart, which we used. All of my sales, everything was in one shopping cart. Again, these are services, right? Um, 3 years and then it kind of disappeared, and everyone was using one called Infusionsoft, which some people called Confusionsoft, which is now a Keep, I think it is. So every time that these shifts happen, there was always this huge problem of the delivery of stuff, the pricing of stuff, the sales pages of stuff, all of your content. Every couple years, it had to be moved to a different platform for whatever reasons, whether that, the company changed the pricing, or it stopped existing, or it got purchased by someone. An example of that is just LearnDash. LearnDash just got purchased by Stellar, which is, I think, is one of the hosting companies that has a whole bunch of different content. BuddyBoss got purchased by someone else. So there's always movement that's there with them. But if you have your content on your WordPress site, that makes it easier if there are any changes that need to be made. That's the first thing. Second thing is the focus on school. And I have a school account and I'm a member of some of the other schools. If I'm looking at it from a training perspective or an education business, even if I have school, I'm missing all of the other pieces or parts that I just talked about. There isn't a way to do the marketing for your entire business. There's a way to have courses and a way to have some groups there. But in terms of all of the different pieces, it's like you're bolting on school to something, or you're bolting on Go High Level Marketing on Automation. You're bolting on all of these pieces. I think school's going to have its run. There's going to be people on it, and then it's going to kind of disappear over the next 2 years when there's just a lot of slop being thrown up on it as quickly as possible. And you, as the teacher and the instructor, are just like, it's a massively open online community, right? Just like Udemy or Skillshare, where there's thousands and thousands of courses. People are going to go to school and see thousands and thousands of people that are just like you. So any of the ones that are kind of big directory of courses and things like that, I'm not a fan of as a long-term play. If you just have something you want to put up and get some people in and monetize it, yeah, go for it. You can have it up. You can have a course up. If you got content, you can have a course up before the end of the day today and have it ready for selling. But if you want to have an education business and you want to be here in 6 months or 9 months or a year or 2 years from now, and you want to be able to take advantage of all this cool AI stuff, and you're here for a little bit of a longer run, I don't recommend going and hanging your hat on a service like that. So that's kind of the space on school. The one thing I will say, Danielle, and actually just consider this, is if you have something now and you want to test it, put it up on school. Just whip something up, put it up and see what happens. Market it, see what happens. See if you get some feedback, maybe earn some money on it, but then kind of think, how am I going to put this together, or what is it that I want to think about over the long time? So there, Anthony's asking, well, there's a ton I need to learn. So many pieces of the puzzle. It's easy for an ADHD guy to get buried. What do you suggest newbies do to keep all of this managed? Um, here's my recommendation. Based on, if you're a newbie and you want to treat this as kind of a long-term thing and you're really struggling having all of the moving pieces, I would go and open up or get started. Um, Again, depends on your budget and the number of courses that you're going to do. But if you are really, really struggling from the technical perspective and putting all the pieces together, I would go and open up a school, a circle.so account. That's what I would do if I was kind of looking at it and not really worried about it, but want to get started with a first course and started try and build a community. I would probably do something like that. And again, if you haven't seen circle.so, there's the page right there. Let me see if I can make it a little bit bigger. They have a mobile app with it. And if you look at it and you log into one, you're going to see it looks very much the same as Fluent Community, but it is ready to go and ready to get started. So good place to get going. Easy to put some courses in. It's got the ability to do those live events, interact with people. It's got a community that works kind of the same as the Fluent Community, and it's there, but it costs some money on a regular basis. So, you know, you're looking at $99 or $90 a month. And again, I'm in Canada, so it might be showing Canadian prices. But if you have some kind of workflows and stuff that we're, excuse me, talking about, you know, you're looking at $100 and $200 a month for something like that. So very, very nice one to do. And you can see what they're doing here. Workflows, custom profile fields, branded email notifications, automatic or automated transcriptions, activity scores, migration services for courses. So, you know, here's one of the ones where you have a good entry level where they're kind of set here. But then after that, if you want to extend it, it starts to cost some money. So if you're here and then you start going, oh man, I want to, you know, start making sure that I get analytics and I want to make sure that I have multiple domains. You're getting in, you got to spend $400 or $500 a month to do this. And then it gets as complicated as it was if you were just going to do something like WordPress in the first place. So if you're really stuck technically, go to circle.so. If you have a WordPress site and you're ready to start WordPress, all you do is you have WordPress and you go and install the Fluent Community. I'll make sure, and again, I put the links to these. I put my affiliate links selfishly or unselfishly. I'll put them in the campus, but if you go and you just do fluentcommunity.co, this is a free plugin on WordPress. You can go and install it as a plugin and you have the exact same thing as circle.so. Doesn't have some of the additional pieces. You still have to do the Fluent CRM if you want that, and Fluent support. Fluent does a great job because they have the free versions of all of this. You can install them and you have the same thing at Circle without the live events. So either one is right, but there's free versions of Fluent Community. You got to start paying if you're doing Fluent circle.so, pardon me. So how long am I get going on these things, man? I get so excited because there's so much opportunity and so many different things that we can or can't do. My kind of thing, please spend time at the beginning of this. Please, 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 please go through and take that campus map, that 10-step thing, because when I talk to people, and I did this myself, the very first thing, you know, it's starting, building, and growing an education business. The first thing that people always gravitate to, the two things are, what piece of software should I get for my courses, for my membership site, for my community, and or I have a course, I created a course, it's a nice big shiny course. How do I sell it and where do I sell it from? Those are the fourth, fifth, and sixth of the 10 things that you need to do. Please go through and watch the first 4 sections of this and take some time to figure out what is the actual topic that I can describe myself as. Create that topical authority map so that you know what it is that you're messaging and who you're messaging it to. Figure out how do I have or what goals do I have for my business and my community and my personal goals. You know, it's not enough to just say, hey, I want to earn $100,000 a month from having X number of members. You have a life to live too. So you got to make sure that you say, hey, this is what I'm willing to invest. This is what I want for that investment in terms of money and also lifestyle. How much time, energy, and effort do you have personally to put into it, whether that be technical or time with the actual people that you're helping. Are you going to be doing live coaching or interacting with people, or is it just a static course that you're trying to market or sell to people? So do these 4 things first and then get into the campus stuff that I'm talking about here, whether the tools and the platform that you need and the way the tools in the platform can determine the kind of content that you have. Because if you create content first, then you have to pick the platform to support the content. On the other hand, if you know you have a platform, you have the ability to make sure that the content that you create is best suited for the platform instead of trying to do it the other way around. And then you get into all of the other pieces, of course, after the teaching stuff. But just please take those ones first, at least play around with them, and then ask questions in the community if you're unsure of what needs to happen there. Here's my little sales pitch too. If you're watching this after the fact, we do these calls every Wednesday at 1 o'clock. I try and answer as many questions and not get off on a rant like I did today. But please join. It's free. The community is free. Everyone can come in. All my content is free. And how I make money off of this is another call. But please go in and spend some time with it. Ask some questions. Love to help you out on doing this. So Fluent Community for Gutenberg 2. Another good question, Daniel. And let me do this other one too here. We had Greg G. Sam Cart, another one there. Okay. Sam Cart. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to talk about Sam Cart for a second. There are a number of external shopping cart platforms that are software as a service. ThriveCart is one that I run into on a regular basis. I'm not personally knowledgeable of SamCart. Let's just pull it up so I can look at it. How long have I been going? Holy mackerel, an hour and a half. Let's see if I can do this here. Okay, so SamCart, a service, right? Okay, so here's all of these platforms or shopping platforms, whether it be ThriveCart or SamCart in this case. Those are all really, really good at what they do. The question that comes up when you're using these ones that are softwares as a service is that you end up, again, in my opinion, my experience, you end up having to try and put together or connect all of these pieces, and they often end up to be in separate places. The biggest problem that you will run into with a community or a membership site is logins. You'll spend more time on making sure that people get access to what they've either purchased and or shouldn't have access to. It is a pain in the butt, and as much as you want it to go away or not have it happen, it will happen. The larger the community, the more login issues and access issues you run into. If you're using a shopping cart like ThriveCart or SamCart, and you have an LMS for courses, and you have an email marketing automation platform, and you have a support desk for doing your help desk tickets, and you get the picture. So if someone purchases something like a course, how do you get their name and address and details into the CRM? If they're in the CRM, how do you get their platform details, their usernames and passwords into the community? If they open up a help desk ticket, how do you get their username and password into the help desk? If you have a business that has a whole bunch of different moving pieces, that it isn't just about courses and community, you're selling all sorts of additional services or agency pieces, yeah, I take a good solid look at it. If you're teaching or doing education business, my goal is to get everything in one place where I have a really solid understanding of who's there, what they've done, how can I automate it, how can I control access and have it all in one place. That's good for me as a business because I can leverage the tools that I have with internally, but it also makes it easy for other people to open a support ticket, log into a course, post in the community, and be involved easily and quickly. So again, good platform, great. Just think about long-term business. Am I going to use this now? What happens if I do add one-to-one services. Does this cart support that really well? How do I get the bookings from the calendar in? Does it hook up to Calendly? So just kind of think of that big picture, those first 4 steps, and say, where does this fit in? Is it going to be supporting me for the goals that I have for myself and for my business? So yeah, SamCart's good, ThriveCart's good. They're all really good. They do landing pages, they do all sorts of this stuff, but how do they connect to the rest of your business? Okay, here we go. Greg's got a couple questions here. Fluent Community for Gutenberg. Yes, I will mention that first. Gutenberg, they have the WordPress, they have almost all of the pieces of Gutenberg in the courses, but not all of them. So in Fluent Community, yes, it does support Gutenberg, but on some of the pieces, not all of the features of Gutenberg. It's like a stripped down one. But for the most part, anything that you would want to do, whether it's basic formatting or putting tables or columns or things like that, yes, you can do it directly right within Fluent Community. Where's the other one here? Okay. I'm going to chalk that one in a second, Greg. What do we got here? Lovely. So many choices. Sometimes you do a demo of the system. Recommend it. Sorry, I wasn't able to. Okay, yeah, cool. So I will do a demo. And actually, I've done one before, but we'll go back and do it. I'll actually install right from the start. I'll do a live install of the whole Fluent stack. Takes about 45 minutes. We could do it. And then so you'll be able to see how quickly you'd be able to get something set up with that. The one thing I'm going to share one other trick, and then I'll come, Greg, to your question. One of the things that I did that helped me out to some extent, but if you look on the left-hand side of any of your communities that you're doing, the one thing that is kind of difficult is trying to figure out what am I going to put on the left-hand menu and how am I going to organize my community and my courses and my space so that it does what I want it to do. I came up with these by asking ChatGPT or an AI tool. I basically laid out the context of the things that I wanted to focus on, what I was offering, whether it was course focused or live classes or resources. Spend some time in your community, in your courses, asking ChatGPT, how can I organize it in the most effective way to do what I want for the people that are in the community so that they understand it and getting something back. Is mine perfect? No, but it better than it was if I was just trying to figure it out by myself. So, and again, gets fine-tuned all the way. One of the things I'm thinking about right now is instead of start here, I'm going to put courses. I hate the word courses because that's not really what they are, but people have a mindset of a course is watching some videos in a sequence. And technically I don't have courses, but I want people to be able to take that 10-step campus map and actually have a campus blueprint that's the whole big course, but it's not available. It's in here as well. And then the groups and then the classes. So spend some time asking or getting help from ChatGPT about the way that you organize stuff, because it helps you think outside of the box of what the students are wanting or the way that they want to or perceive that they want to consume your content, and it helps to actually do that. So again, just off on a side there too. So Greg, here's the one. This is a really cool one. So how does ChatGPT affect the deployment of these tools as courses versus outcomes? Should we reduce our current course prices knowing that the educational paradigm will shift after GPT-5? That's a really, really great question. I'll give you my personal kind of thing on it, and we'll go from there because this is a whole open discussion. I think personally that there is no longer any value in traditional courses. And I'm going to preface that by saying, you know, the students can do the exact same prompts as you're doing as quickly as you can to get the content themselves. They don't need you. If you are selling a talking head video or something that it can be spit out by any of these AI tools, you're not going to be able to sell them unless you have an existing customer base and existing revenue streams, and you're basically just pulling or transferring people over to another way to deliver your content that they're already paying for. So I get frustrated personally if I see people who are saying, buy this course. Stop selling courses, start selling communities and outcomes. I think you're absolutely right on that. The big shift, and I have said this in a couple other ones, is a course is just in case content. A course is just a bunch of organized content just in case you need to recall it or just in case you need to use it. The way that education in AI is going is it's just in time content. I think the value is in your frameworks, your proprietary way of looking things. So teach frameworks in terms of your content, but also monetize yourself in groups and or one-on-one as the person or the people that provide the application and implementation of the just-in-case content using your framework. So create frameworks as fast as you can that are proprietary to you and make your community open and yourself open to be able to teach people and interact with people. The whole time, the holy grail was passive income, create a course, create a membership site. You're going to be, independently wealthy with 12 customers or something like that. I think that's a load of, doesn't work anymore. If anyone is trying to say that it works now, in my experience, they have an existing business and revenue stream and or customers, and they're just transferring people over to it, and or they have a whole bunch of money to spend on additional ways to get people to purchase their course. And that is something I just don't have the time, energy, or effort. I don't want to bother with it anymore. I just want to help people and guide them through the transformation and the mentorship. So, if you're looking at this and say, hey, I want to build a community, or hey, I want to be able to do live classes, or hey, I want to be able to use ChatGPT to create or organize my framework, or I want to be able to say, hey, here's a YouTube video. And how do I pick out or research the different pieces that I have, or how do I organize that? That's what I'm here to help you with. Can I do a course on it? Yeah, I could do a course. It's going to be out of date before I actually finish it. Why would I spend time, energy, and effort doing a big course when I can guide people or say, hey, if you want to do this, here are the 4 steps to do it. Let's go and do it together. We'll use ChatGPT. We'll use Claude. We'll, we'll use Grok. We'll use Perplexity to do these things. Let's do it and we'll walk through it. I think the job of an education business right now is to prevent or minimize overwhelm and streamline all of these choices that people have, because it can get absolutely overwhelming. And especially if you're just starting, that's going to be a bigger problem that I think most people recognize. Now, in terms of ChatGPT 5, I've done 2 videos in the last 2 days on GPT-5. I've done a whole bunch of research on it previously. And the way that I do this is when I'm looking, like I subscribe to a whole bunch of channels, and they're all usually technical channels about all of these features and functions of them. But what I'm always trying to do is figure out how does this affect me if I'm in the education space, if I'm trying to figure out, what the heck does this mean to me if I'm creating a community or I'm selling something online. I don't really care about benchmarks and that stuff, even though it's cool. But I'm looking at it from an old guy with, graying and not much left hair, just trying to figure out how can I leverage it and not get left behind. That is the fundamental thing that I think everyone has to make, especially over this next month when GPT-5 comes out, because my understanding of what's happening here is this is going to make GPT-4 look like baby food, as opposed to a 12-course meal that has everything available for you. The big shift that's coming right now, and some of this was teased. I did some videos on Manus.im, GenSpark. Actually, OpenAI had a thing called Operator. And these were kind of the first agentic ones where you could basically not prompt to get a response, but prompt to get a completed task. The examples that I did in the video yesterday, that you are going to be able to give tasks to GPT-5 for it to complete the tasks, the entire task, not just create a syllabus, create a lesson plan, create a quiz, you going back and forth. It's just like having an assistant or multiple assistants, because we're going to have agent and we're going to have agents of agents. It's like departments. If you're a big business, you got a department. You have the marketing department, you have the technical department, you have the service department, you have the social media department. It's basically, look, hey, I want to create an education business. This is my topic. I want you to create, seven modules on this. I need you to make a social media campaign, email marketing automations, all of this stuff. And basically, you're going to have agents basically doing all of this stuff. Now, it already happens to some extent with tools like Manus. Tools like Manus, I said, hey, create a course for my Learn Dash site on WordPress. And I did this in a earlier in the year, created a course basically based with a prompt that I did. It uploaded it to my WordPress site. It created a product in WooCommerce, set the product price, and made the course available. It was a 7-lesson course. So that was 4 months ago. It was an agent that went through the steps in the browser. GPT-5 is agents doing specified things on command without us having to worry about solely text prompts. So this is something now, you got a digital assistant, someone there's for you, whole departments that you're going to be able to learn how to say, this is the story that I have, this is what I want, this is what I'm trying to do, this is the way that I do it, give me some suggestions on doing it in a better way, and then go get the work done. Show me what you've got. I'll be the human in the loop and say, hey, that works or that doesn't work, let's fine tune this, but it's going to be done for you. So if you're thinking, I'm going to go do a talking head video and I'm going to do 14 modules in 7 sections and I'm going to get some quizzes on it and I'm going to earn a whole bunch of money from it, I don't think it's going to happen. And that's this year in 2025. So, this is exciting, but kind of think, how am I going to go and monetize that now? Is it selling courses or is there something else that's there? And that's the part that I'm betting on and hoping that will actually come up. So GTP5, yeah, huge issue. I'm hoping, I think I mentioned this earlier in this session, I'm thinking about, they're on holiday, OpenAI is on holiday this week until the July 4th weekend. By the way, it was Canada Day yesterday for us here in Canada. They're on holiday this week. Next week or the week after, I wouldn't be surprised if we see something drop. And there's going to be a lot of news about it, a lot of buzz, but things like multimodal inputs and the amount of space that we have to play in terms of prompting in and getting responses and not having the token count kind of run out. These are no longer issues, and all of it is going to be in one model that's a thinking model that is here like an employee for us. And we just got to make sure we step up as the boss and know what we want our company to do and how to manage that as a CEO. So kind of cool stuff. Who else? What I got here before I end things up here? Makes sense. Sometimes you need a demo. Yes, I'll do that. Thank you very much, John. Make your money multiply. Yeah, absolutely. This is going to be so cool. I hope you enjoyed this. How long did I go? Holy mackerel, hour and 40 minutes. If you haven't already, please make sure to go to trainingsites.io and join, like, and subscribe to the channel. Tell other people about it. And if there's stuff that you need to know, if there's stuff that you want to find out about, all you need to do is make sure that you go to trainingsites.io, and actually on the left-hand side here, this is exactly the same as Facebook. Just go into the general discussion here, tools and resources, ask some questions. Don't be afraid to put your wins and celebrations. If you have a new YouTube video, if you did a new course, if you've done a new community, get here and put it in and share it. Another tool, get here and put it in and share it for other people to learn from. This is going to be really cool. Let's have some fun with it. Let's start, build, and grow profitable education business. So I hope you enjoyed that. Take your time learning because it never stops. Take care and expect the best. This is James speaking. We'll be back again next week.